So far, we're 2 for 2 when it comes to good versus bad movies we've seen. This next installment will turn the tides forever. Or at least until my next review. The Phantom, released in 1996, is the first film I've reviewed to actually be based on a comic book. Although Wikipedia assures me that Silverhawk is, I can't find any proof of her comic's existence. The movie begins with quite possibly the most charming, yet confusing exposition dump I've ever seen, where we learn the origin of the Phantom. Keep in mind this is not the origin of our Phantom, Kit Walker, but the origin of his ancestor, the first Phantom, whose father was killed by pirates of the Zane clan. Upon washing ashore, he was adopted by the native tribe, and was granted the powers of the Phantom. He then vowed to use these powers to avenge his father's death. Now this opening scene is told in a way that can be quite confusing to those unfamiliar with the Phantom comics, as I was led to believe that this was the father of our current Phantom and main character, Kit Walker. But in actuality, the Phantom is a lineage of heroes, with the mantle passed down from father to son upon the former's death. Kit's father was actually the 20th Phantom, and was killed in 1932 by this man, who literally stabbed him in the back. I do like how the movie opens with that, for those coming in late. It gives off that 30s, 40s cinema feeling, which is actually a nod to the Phantom's first film, The Phantom, released in 1943. Maybe I'll review that at some point down the line. We're then introduced to a group of treasure hunters led by Quill, the man that killed the last Phantom. They have a young native boy with them that they use as a guide. But when they're forced to cross an unstable bridge, they cross on foot and force the boy to drive the truck across. It's pretty evil, but Quill does show a bit of humanity as he prays the boy makes it under his breath.
Come on, kid.
They make it safely across and they find the treasure they're looking for, the Silver Skull. During their escape, they're attacked by the Phantom and his sidekick, Devil. The action is fun and campy, and the dialogue is quick and snappy. Put that on a t-shirt.
Watch him, Devil. He moves. Eat him.
Also, incredible use of Chekhov's gun here with the bridge. During his fight with the Phantom, Quill drives the truck onto the bridge, jumping out just in time, using the bridge collapse as a distraction to allow for his team's escape. Having already dedicated a decent amount of time to establishing the danger of crossing this bridge, it's nice that the writers came back to it, making both scenes feel more impactful. This scene is also where I began to notice the amazing soundtrack. Unfortunately, I can't play it for you due to copyright issues, but the music always seems to perfectly complement each scene, and work along with the visuals to build an atmosphere of daring adventure. I'm not really a music guy, so when a soundtrack manages to catch my attention, it's usually worth noting. After the fight, Kit does some research into the treasure they stole. He finds out the Silver Skull is one of 3 magic skulls, the others being made of gold and jade. If one should possess all 3, he would be granted unimaginable power. He has a heart-to-heart with the ghost of his father, and we spend the next couple minutes introducing the rest of the characters at the Playboy Mansion. We meet Dave Palmer, owner of the local newspaper company, and his niece, Diane, an adventurer who's just returned from her latest venture. We're also introduced to Xander Drax, notorious mob boss and entrepreneur, who's got both the mayor and chief of police under his thumb. Dave calls a meeting to discuss Drax's recent doings. He tells the group that he's learned from a highly placed source in the city library that Drax has been researching something to do with this symbol, which he's traced the origin of to the Bengala jungle, and intends on departing tomorrow. Diane tells him she'll go instead, so that he can keep an eye on the newspaper company, which Drax has taken a special interest in. The chief tells Drax of Diane's departure, and has the plane hijacked. He also kills the librarian that leaked his search history. The Phantom, having learned of the plane's hijacking, finds Diane, and the two make their escape. Even though the Phantom is technically the one rescuing Diane, Diane plays an equal part in their escape. They commandeer a plane, and the real star here is the camera work and sound design. After another happy landing, the two retreat to the Phantom's lair where Diane tells him of Drax and the symbol. He identifies it as the mark of the Zane clan, and departs for New York City, where he assumes his former identity, Kit Walker. As Kit, he learns of the Jade Skull's whereabouts, and with Diane's help, retrieves it from the Museum of World History, unsuccessfully. Drax catches up with them, and the 2 skulls together reveal the third's location. Drax takes Kit and Diane hostage, and after interrogations prove unsuccessful, he orders Kit to be taken away. Now, I typically hate scenes where the villain says, "Take him away," or some other shit to that effect, instead of doing the logical thing by just killing the hero right then and there. But this movie solves that issue by making the hero an almost non-threat to the villain. See, Drax knows nothing of Kit Walker, only that he tried to steal the Jade Skull. Logically, he would want to know what other parties were interested in the skulls, and as he stated before, he's ruled out the Phantom because he's never been known to leave the Bengala jungle. In the short time Drax has known Kit, he hasn't tried to fight, he hasn't tried to escape, and has been seemingly entirely at the mercy of Drax. So when he finally does retaliate, it comes as a surprise to Drax that he strangles the henchman with his magnum thighs, who responds by keeping Diane as insurance. I have high praise for this... I have high praise for this film's attention to detail, and how each scene leads into the next seamlessly. A prime example of this is the character of Al. Al is a cabbie who gives Kit a ride to the museum, but upon arriving, Kit can't pay, as he's from the jungle and doesn't have any real money. So instead, Kit pays him in jewels, which vastly exceed what he owes for the ride, and secures Al's services for the rest of the day. When Kit gets kidnapped by Drax, Al trails them, and upon Kit's escape, Al provides Kit with the means to chase down Drax. Do you see what I'm trying to get here? From the first scene of Kit in New York, the writer is already setting up the final chase through New York. Each scene naturally flows into the rest, creating a logical and well-developed conclusion. It's just nice to see the writers think that far ahead, instead of writing the usual few unrelated exposition scenes, and then a boring chase to pad for time. The Phantom stows away on Drax's plane, and they find their way to the Third Skull, which has been guarded by what's left of the Cyan clan for centuries. The Phantom interrupts their bargain, and in the heat of battle, Drax manages to get a hold of the Third Skull. Now, what great power is bestowed upon him now that he possesses all three skulls? He can shoot a single laser beam. Pretty underwhelming, especially considering when he turns the laser on the Phantom, his ring turns out to be the fourth skull, with the power to absorb it. So the weapon Drax was after this whole time was always going to be able to be stopped by the Phantom.
Not a great plan.
The Phantom defeats him, and we get the reveal that Kit isn't the first Phantom, which, if you know anything about the character or paid attention to the intro, you'd have already known. We get one last scene of Kit and Diane on the beach, and the credits roll. The Phantom, at its heart, is a love letter to adventure cinema. Clearly inspired by the likes of Indiana Jones and The Lone Ranger, the film does well to emulate the spirit of adventure present in those works. The tone plays perfectly off the film's truly great characters, that often feel as they were ripped right off the pages of the comics. The Phantom is stoic and just, yet witty and carefree. And I mean, just look at this scene where the Phantom stops mid-chase to pick up a girl's wallet. Diane is bold and outgoing. She looks down the barrel of a gun like it's a damn Twinkie. And Xander Drax is so good at crime, the actor that played him straight up stole the show. He has charisma oozing from every orifice of his body. He's comical, playing to many classic villain stereotypes, but that doesn't mean he's predictable. If I had to describe this film in one word, it would be fun. Everything from the dialogue to the action scenes are crafted with the audience's enjoyment in mind. It's the perfect blend of campy adventure and quick-witted comedy, and succeeds in every aspect. Silverhawk should be ashamed.
Get off me! What am I? Chopped liver?
One thing I would change, though, is the opening. Instead of telling the origin of the first Phantom, I'd have made the opening about the origin of Kit's father, the 20th Phantom. The film was originally meant to be the first installment of a trilogy, but due to its disastrous box office numbers, both sequels were canned, leaving us with only The Phantom, a greatly enjoyable adventure flick that gets unjustly overlooked. If you get the chance, you should definitely check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're wondering why at certain points of this video I sound like I'm dying, it's because I am. Your boy got the Rona. I'm down, but I'm not out. So, as long as I'm not dead, I figured I'd keep making these. See y'all next time.